Guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm happy to have you. To my peers and subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video in particular, we're going to be talking about and discussing Biden's health, former President Joe Biden's health. It has been announced yesterday that unfortunately he has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. We're going to find out today what is going on in terms of the health of Joe Biden. Now we all know where somebody with cancer normally leads. There's a small, slim chance that they can survive, most likely. But I don't want you to say and think that, like, I don't want to really talk about the death because I don't want to manifest that into the physical reality. So we're not going to talk about that aspect. But however, we are going to talk about his health and overall and where we are heading. So we're going to take a look at his health and find out what it is that we need to know in today's video. Now we're going to try to keep this as short and brief as possible, but one of kindness, love, and appreciation. So this video is being recorded on none other than Monday, May 19th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as of when I'm recording this specific video. If you want to help out the channel grow, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, engaging with the content. It helps the channel out. It helps us all. And speaking of which, in terms of engagement, for those of you guys who did just that for the past week, I do want to make sure I acknowledge you guys because it is Community Spotlight and today is Monday, so that's when we do it. I do want to acknowledge Nighthawk, Anna Catton, Taurus, 16, Catherine Shields, and Cam Gallas. Thank you all of you guys who have been actively engaging in the content, whether you're liking, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, commenting, watching the video longer than normal. The YouTube algorithm has picked you guys and selected you guys as the top members for this week. So thank you guys for engaging with the content. I really do appreciate it. And if you want to get on there, just all you have to do is just follow exactly what I said and you'll be able to go on there. Now, if you want to be notified when you post and upload, you can go into the description or the comment section below and follow my Blue Sky account and my Facebook group, and I will personally notify you when I do post and upload. However, today is Monday 19th at 1:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I am going to push it ahead. We have a lot of things to get through, specifically a lot of videos, and this video is just for entertainment purposes only and for educational purposes only as well. I'm not responsible for anything I do or say in this specific video, and you understand that by still watching this video. Alright, so let's go ahead, let's begin. If you want to donate, you can. I mean, the donation link is in the description. A lot of you guys have asked, but don't feel obligated in any particular way to donate. Any proceeds that I get will go straight into the channel, and that will be it. Alright, so let's go ahead, let's begin. Let's find out what it is that we need to find out for Biden's health. Alright, so Spirit Angel, tell me about President Joe Biden's health. President Joe Biden's health. President Joe Biden's health. Oh, look at that. Okay. President Joe Biden's health. President Joe Biden's health. Okay. Okay, so it's interesting. So these are homemade tarot card decks that I made, my first original copy. Now, the first card that we get here for Joe Biden's health, we don't get any indication of any chakras yet. But this is the man, the masculine, and the feminine coming together. He kind of like, throughout his life, he has been able to, in some way, being able to combine those two beautiful aspects of what it means to be masculine, what it also means to embrace the feminine energy. He has done that, and that is why you kind of see this co-join. However, as he started to age and get older, the lines in which he was able to blend started to become a state of confusion, right? It feels very much so that like he, oftentimes at some points, didn't know how to navigate certain things. He didn't know how to navigate certain energies that he acquired over the course of his life. And it's also talking about traumatic events. So his trauma enabled his feminine energy to be emboldened, and his masculine energy was emboldened by his perseverance to be consistent with his energy. So be consistent in politics and to go out there. So that is more the masculine tone, whereas the feminine kept it more relative, more nurturing, more caring, not cold like most politicians are. That is why the feminine card comes in, because of his trauma, his bonding to trauma. What also comes here as well is that because of those trauma, it manifested into the physical in some way, and it manifested into the state of confusion. So oftentimes but not, he kind of doesn't understand anymore the blend of who he is and what he is. So oftentimes I find himself in a situation where he is forgetting who and what he is. Again, we will all send him love and light. Today I did do a meditation to send him some love and light if we could. So if you can do the same, I really do appreciate it. I don't know why this feels very much like we're having different colors going on in here. So we're going to change that right now to blue. Alright, so anyway, going back into the reading, we have here the next color card here, which is bleed. Bleed. Right? But it also means the word believe. But if you look between the lines, you see two different words, but it depends on your interpretation. It's reverse. That there's a sense of belief, but also a sense of that he feels like because of everything that he did for the country, but also things that got him to where he is, he got him to become president, right? This also means state of confusion. It also is referring to his brain surgery that he had back in the 1980s when he was planning to run initially. This is referring to that, the trauma, right? The trauma of the event. We also have here believe, right? He did what he could in the best way possible. But however, because of what is happening currently within the United States, it's taking a toll on him. Like he feels like he didn't do enough or he didn't do as much as he should have. Really underestimated 45 in a way in which he was not able to protect the country the way that he would have wanted. But how can somebody do that if they don't know what the other person is capable of? Because we only saw a little bit of what 45 is, right? We were let off on the idea that, we survived the last 4 years. How bad could this one be? But essentially, it has gotten bad. And that is why he sees that he underestimated the power of 45 and the abuse of the executive branch. And here you have confusion, being challenged by a world leader, president. Right? So he feels very much so that he feels like he could have done more had he known what the outcome would have been. And here we have, as well as we have transportation, going somewhere, going to a specific place, traveling, making allies, or making allegiance to something. He feels like he believes that something can be moved forward, that something can overcome this. But there's also all these things can crash. The boat can crash, the railroad can crash, the car can crash, the alien ship can crash, the plane can crash. Although you can go somewhere, things often more than that, when you are in a mode of transportation, it can come down at a very fast rate, just as fast as it went up in the sky. And here is he knows the truth. Eventually, when he does transition over, whenever that does happen, he will see the truth for what it is. He will understand what is happening. Is it the truth? The Egyptian eye, which indicates the truth. He's going to understand the truth. And here we have the feminine and masculine. So like the yin and yang. I'm not making this stuff up. You can kind of see how I talked about the masculine and the feminine, how it comes into effect, and how the making of Biden came into play, and how it led to him being president. But also at the same exact time, now that he's going into it and he already served his term, he felt like he could have did so much more, but he couldn't because he underestimated the power at B. The bottom of the deck here is we have clear, which means confusion, or it means blank, emptiness, pure. It could be purity, right? This could be a pure energy. This could be a color card as well. This is a chakra. This could be energy, right? Pure energy. We are now going to take a look at the Kipper energy here of this tarot deck and find out more about Biden and his health. Okay. I'm going to shuffle this as good as I can. Spirit Angel, tell me about Joe Biden. Before me probably doing Joe Biden and his health in regards to prostate cancer. Okay. We have here marriage. Again, another feminine and masculine energy. We have here, okay. And anything else you'd like to say, Spirit? We have here, as well as leader or president. We have here underneath the transportation where he feels like he's going, or where someone can go, is the mode of love, the transportation. Again, like I said, he's been struggling with this idea of the combination of the masculine and feminine. You kind of see how the energy kind of keeps coming in here. We have the masculine and feminine here. Then we have the masculine and feminine here, masculine and feminine here, and the masculine and feminine energy here. It's pretty consistent relatively to President Biden. We also have here as well as what is he seeing? What is he seeing? High honor. He's seeing high honor. This is the year 2025. He sees war. He sees conflict. He sees destruction. But he also sees something of building. He sees potential through this destruction. So that is what that is what Biden is going to see. Biden's going to see this high honor. His ability to, despite all this destruction, something good can come from it eventually. And here you have is the marriage card, the unity, the love, the appreciation, the happiness, right? What is challenging the unexpected income, which is reverse, right? Luck is not always there anymore. Luck is no longer there. It feels very much so that eventually it does feel like it will have to come to an end, and typically the marriage. The division between the masculine and feminine will have to come to an end, and it's going to be because of the occupation, right? His role in politics, what he stood for, his thing that he did. Right? This is the occupation. It means what you stood for, right? What you did, what did you create, what do you bring together, right? And I'm being told to look at the flowers here, the pink flowers, you blossom. What did you bring to the nation in a time of upheaval, right? This is the occupation card. So what is this coming through? Is Biden no longer talking about his health? It doesn't come in anymore. He understands where he is. And it doesn't indicate anything with health anymore. But his understanding his mind, his complexity, his understanding of who and what he is, his legacy. What is Biden going to be known for? He's going to be known for this. His high honor. His ability to see the potential even when things are destroyed. He's going to be able to see certain things that otherwise we, as the collective, don't see. Because Biden, again, is behind the scenes. He's aware of what's going on. Now, what is the bottom of the deck? Where's the deck? I just lost the deck. The bottom of the deck means toil and labor. He works, right? He had to work to where he got to go, where he wanted to be, right? That is what this card indicates. I don't know why this computer keeps changing colors. You guys see that, right? I'm not crazy? Anyway, the top of the deck here means a gift. So he will receive a gift. What is the gift? The gift of life and the gift of change, right? So the gift of change in regards to his mental space. Right? And here you have expectation, and here you have official person. So eventually what it is saying, there's going to be a gift of change that's coming his way. But the question is when is he going to receive this gift of change? It's going to be yet to be determined. We do have here, going into this book here, what we talked about earlier in today's, since the channel on December 31st, 2024, we did talk about a couple of messages, and I want to go over them because they are in regards to President Biden. So we have channel messages at 2:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on December 31st, 2024. So let me read it. This is again December 31st. Here, the worlds you seek will be met with diversity and adversity. Love all that will be, can be, and should be. The world will transform in matters of ilk. Thy truth shall be open. Happy New Year. May you rest solely. The world will transform. Please be prepared as you yourself will change. Right? It says here, world's leaders will be submission to all that can and will be. If Biden is meant to have this, not saying I'm wishing upon it that he should have it, but if he's meant to have it, it will be there. But it also follows with it, health will be sought by those who want it, an open vast to wisdom and faith. The question is that if the only way for Biden to really heal is he needs to be able to want to be helped, he wants to be able to be healed. That is the energy. He needs to manifest that. So that's what it's saying here. This also applies to all of us as well. If you want to be helped during this time, this is the time to do it. We talked about many times that many world's leaders are going to fall, specifically only male, not female, but mostly male leaders in particular are going to die around this year. Again, I'm not indicating anything with Biden. Remember, I talked about the Pope was likely to die, things like that. We also have here, kings will fall, not one, but by the many. Right? You said that kings will fall, not one, but by the many, which we have seen so far. A new faith will emerge and reignite a passion in others. We have saw that with the new Pope, right? Let's see. Okay, it says here, the globe will experience a sense of peace for a moment. A breath, if you will, before a coming of age, a future that will define a decade and generation, a war perhaps, right? It says here, Trump shall be the trumpet that blows the new whistle of the age, for that I have created him in this time to usher in the new age of darkness and of light. Biden's energy here is of the light. It's of the light. We have here, Harris shall seek a new path towards the presidency, for that she shall become. Biden will be known for his tranquility, stability, and peace in a time of upheaval. That is what Biden's legacy is going to be known for. That is what he's going to be discovered for. That is what he's going to be loved for, right? Let me see if there's any indications of what to call it, of anything else in regard to Biden. I don't see anything else for Biden. That is all that I got in this book. But again, that is Biden's legacy. He did his purpose, and this is cementing his purpose. So why is it coming in for his health? It's coming in for his health because this is what's on his mind. This is what he's embodying. This is his energy. I don't see any death card. I don't see a coffin card in any way. Let me see. I don't see a coffin card. I don't see a sense of death. I don't see death here. And because, again, like I said, I'm not referring to death. We're not going to be talking about his death, right? At least not in this video. But we were talking about his health. And what's on his health, what is consuming most of his time right now, is his legacy. Did he feel like he did enough? That is what his legacy is. That is what he feels is he concerned about at this point. Nothing else matters more to him than finding out what if he did enough. Or what can he do more? That is what Biden's legacy is. And I think that's a beautiful way to really end off in today's video. Now, before we do end it, I did briefly mention many times before that Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, and former President Donald Trump have been co-joined together, been linked by the divine, in essence, that if one goes, the other will go. So, for example, I have been talking about this many times before, that if one candidate defeats the incumbent, the other will. Which we saw. We saw that Joe Biden defeated Donald Trump, the incumbent party, to only end up seeing that Donald Trump had went on to defeat the incumbent party. I had thought that this was a spell, or no, not a spell, but I thought that this faith has been broken, or that I had been wrong and my interpretation was incorrect back in July of 2024. But it wasn't, because what happened in July 2024 was not real. It was not a real event. But simultaneously, as everything still went on for Donald Trump back in July 2024, Joe Biden was also being removed from the DNC as the head of the Democratic Party ahead of the general election. Right? So that is what it feels very much like. It's that it kind of gives me the ambiance and the vibe, and I've been talking about this since 2021, 2020, that the vibe and the ambiance of Joe Biden and Donald Trump is very similar to the energy of John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, where they both died within hours on July 4th. I think 1798 or something like that. Let me reissue what I posted. I posted this in my, I posted this on my community page here on YouTube channel. So I just feel like this is the energy, and I've been getting it for a very long time, and it just came back to me. And it's kind of odd how I've been talking about Happy Death Day and talking about the end of Donald Trump, and I completely bypassed the energy of Joe Biden. And I guess there's some part of me I didn't want to acknowledge that it could be real, that it could be something of legitimacy, right? So I'm going to read you what I said. This was posted 17 hours ago, right? So if you want to go ahead and check that out, this is the reading. Let me just make this brighter so you can see it. Okay. So I'm going to post it. I'm going to tell you right now. It is saddening me to hear that President Biden has an aggressive form of prostate cancer. Not once have I ever thought in a million years such thing would be so evident. It was easier to speak when such things were known to all of us. As I spoke before many times on this channel, that President Donald Trump's fate and President Joe Biden's fate are locked in and intertwined together, similar to when President John Adams and President Thomas Jefferson's were, when both died on July 4th, 1826. I thought I had failed in this regard, that for a moment that they are not locked together because of what happened on July 2024. But now I have done a video on that event and found that it was planned. And I provided a video on that. Ironically enough, as we got closer to the two biggest dates I foresaw in my vision in 2021 on May 20th, 2025, and May 25th, 2025, being renowned for great change and even death. I have since then talked about it for years here on this very channel and started a series dedicated to the cause, quote, Happy Death Day. But known to me that I forgot for a moment that Biden will have to leave too, if Trump were to do so as well. If one defeats an incumbent party, the same for the other. If one serves one term, the other will. If one dies, the other will. To keep the story short, they are synonymous with one another. Godspeed, Biden. May you heal well. Love you. Recorded on 7:58 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on May 18, 2025. And that is the video that I'm going to be covering next. But I found that to be very significant, very telling, that the year was 1826. Well, we are 2025. We are 1 year from 2026, right? But we're going to take a look in another video and find out, are they intertwined? Or was that a misinterpretation? Alright guys, thank you for watching. I hope you guys liked today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Unfortunately, we didn't get to cover his health, but this is what's on his mind. This is what's happening, so there's that. Anyway guys, I love you. Have a good night.